So, and when you're creating the mastermind as well, have a think about what's the best way. Is it best to do just online mastermind? Is it best to do just in-person masterminds? So it depends who you're reaching. Are you reaching people in different towns, different states? Is it everyone in the local town there, around the world, whatever it is, what's going to be the best thing to do?
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, that brings us to the point in the show where I get to introduce our guest speaker for tonight, and that is Kingsley Colley. So Kingsley's been on once before. Must have been sort of 2-3 years ago, I think. And he's back here again because we had a conversation the other day, well, not long ago, about what he's doing. And he mentioned he's working with masterminds. Almost fell into it accidentally. So, and it just seemed like an absolutely perfect topic for us tonight, because when I thought about some of the businesses that we have represented here, definitely something you can introduce into your businesses. Some of you are already doing it in some way, shape or form. Some of us have taken it to yet another level with a super mind as well too. But for those that don't know Kingsley, he's got a vast spanning career. He's been in marketing for a long time. He's been a youth worker, much like me as well too. So I was a youth worker for 10 years in my early years. So Kingsley's been there, and he's been working in that entrepreneurial field, both in Australia and the US. So he's the owner of 3 successful businesses, and he really sort of draws his, skill base and experience from the corporate world and from his experience in startups. And he really does work well with others. So his real skill is working with others and helping to draw the best out of him. So he champions physical and mental health, resilience, emotional stability, mindset mastery. And he's incredibly practical as well with these strategies that he's got, and really helping people and businesses overcome difficult times and things that are challenges, I think. So through his speaking and coaching, sort of Kingsley inspires audiences really to unlock their potential, maximize the relationships, and really shape a brighter future. So let's face it, these days, things aren't getting any easier in business for some. So it's good to have sort of someone like Kingsley in your corner. So it's a pleasure to have you on here tonight, Kingsley, to come and talk to us about this thing called masterminds. So let's give a hand to Kingsley as he enters the room. Oh, he's already here.
Thank you very much, Nick. Hello to everybody. Very interesting listening to the people who introduced themselves before. Thank you for that. It was actually really good, and seeing, I think there's a couple of people there doing a masterminds, like Nick said, of various forms which are happening. They've been around for quite a long time, and I would almost guarantee if there's any person that you look up to as a very successful in pretty much any area, but particularly in business, I'll almost guarantee they either are in a mastermind or they run a mastermind themselves, because it's just a great way to grow. What I want to know, I'm not sure, Nick, if we can do this. I really want to know what a super mind is. What is a super mind? Is that Azim?
That's me, Kingsley.
Yeah. What is a super mind?
The supermind is a variation on the mastermind. So part of it is the positioning, so it stands out differently. So people like yourself who are very experienced with mastermind say, well, what the hell is a supermind? The supermind is a cap cohort, if you like. So there's a limited number of people in it. And what makes it actually the supermind is the level of depth that I go into with the people. So for example, everybody within the supermind actually has a one-on-one with me every month.
Gotcha.
Okay. So the key is, aside from and then the beauty and that's been the experiment, the beauty has been that after that one-on-one, which is why I call myself a business success accelerator, to help them strategize what it is that they want to do, then they bring that knowledge into the supermind and get the power of the mastermind to help them implement that. Therefore, it's like not dead, can't quit kind of deal, as opposed to being able to sit on the corner and just take in the other people's information or whatever. So hence it's a supermind.
Okay, beautiful. I like the name. That's pretty cool. So no, that's good. And one of the things that I'm not sure how many people, if you have been in a mastermind before or you're running one, can you just put a Y in the chat, just see how many people have actually got a bit of an idea what's going on with masterminds? Okay, so 3, 4, looks like there's a few people have done 5, 6. Okay, here we go. Lots of people. Awesome. That's really good. So what I'm hoping to do tonight is to help expand thoughts on what mastermind can actually look like. Because some people, I talk to a lot of people who have never heard of what a mastermind is before, and I've talked to others who have been in them or run them or whatever. But masterminds can be very, very open. The reality is you can create a mastermind to be what you want it to be. So you've got people like Lewis Howes who run masterminds, and Russell Brunson does the same thing where they run masterminds. They've got 100 people in their masterminds, and they may get together once or twice a year, and it might be an annual mastermind where they get together and do things. You've got other people like Amy Porterfield and a few other people where there's 4 people in a mastermind. They get together once a month online and talk about marketing or whatever they're talking about specifically, but it's only those 4 people, and they drill each other very, very hard once a month online. There's a bunch of different ways of running a mastermind, and the reality is the first point that I had here is, how do you create them? So the first thing to think about when you're doing it is, why do you want the mastermind in the first place? So what I mean by that is this a funnel into something else that you're running as a business, into one-on-one coaching? Is this an extra source of income that you're trying to create? Is it a way to try and create a group, a cohort that actually builds a group of people that can work together very, very strongly and closely together in that way? There's a lot of different reasons for running a mastermind and having a mastermind. And so whatever your thoughts on a mastermind are, just let them go and let some new thoughts about whatever you want a mastermind to be like to achieve your business goals. Open it right up, because there is no limitations on what or how you can actually do them. So does that make sense? Like, just expanding your thought processes, because the reality of it is, if it's in business, then what we want to do is take the mastermind and use it to help achieve our business goals, because a mastermind doesn't sit on its own as something, but a mastermind is there to fit in with the rest of your business model to help you achieve your goals in business and or your personal life as well. So now, one of the guys earlier on, Paul, he mentioned that at the moment, you said you're a payroll consultant, but you're wanting to sort of step out of that a little bit and become a development consultant. Can I ask, what is a development consultant, Paul?
Developmental coaching.
Okay, meaning?
Basically working on similar to life coaching, but really on the stages of growth of the human.
Okay, perfect.
Expanding perspectives and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not sure if you've thought about this or not, but while you're still doing your payroll consultant, and obviously I'm not sure how it works with your work, some are okay with stuff, but there's a possibility you could actually start a mastermind online at night once a week or something like that. That's just, I mean, there's lots of options, but that's something you could kick off, and whether you do it for free to start with, whether you charge or whatever, that's one option that you can do possibly when you're still working there. Because masterminds can be in person, they can be online, they can be a combination of both of them. There's lots of different things you can do there. But at the end of the day, the first thing you've got to do is, where am I taking my business? What is my marketing strategy, and what is my, I guess, my business model? Does a mastermind fit into that? Because for the majority of masterminds, especially for the people that I've heard speak tonight, most of these businesses, a mastermind would work brilliantly for you. Sometimes it's just a good way to get people in to come and get to know who you are as well. So what you're doing is you're building your expertise out there with who you are. And also there's a difference between a mastermind and group coaching as well. A group coaching really is very much about, I'm coaching you, a group of people, which is great. A mastermind is more a little bit like, as Zim said, where everyone's coming together and you're actually learning from each other as well. I've got a business mastermind. I've got a couple of them. We're about to start a third one that runs very much like what a Zim does, where people working together. So an example of what happened there, we've got a guy in the group. He's got a limo company. He's got 9 cars. He's wanting to expand what's happening there. And he was talking about, and I've got his permission to tell his story. He was talking about how he doesn't have time. A lot of inquiries will come in overnight for his cars, but they may not necessarily book for whatever reason. And we're like, okay, so what do you do with those inquiries? And so we just normally let them go because we don't really have time to do anything with it. And so we're like, okay, well, what if you followed them up? Would some of them book? He's like, I don't know. We're like, it's worth a shot. He's like, okay, I'll do that. So we put together a strategy for him for how he was going to systematically follow those particular people up. And as he was doing that, he spent some time doing that each day, each morning, first thing. He comes back the next month and we're like, how'd you go? He's like, well, I increased my turnover by $7,000 last month. And we're like, holy cow, that's just your increase. And we're like, okay, so now the next stage, you need to get someone in to sort of take over doing a lot of that for you. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'll work on that. So the next month, this is a monthly we get together. The next month he comes back. He said, I found a guy to do it. He's now doing 75% of the work, not all of it, but 75% of the work that he was doing. Plus this guy's doing other sales leads and generations for him. And the second month, he increased his turnover $15,000. So not only is he got, and this is the power of masterminds and how they work really, really well. Not only has he got an increase in $15,000 turnover, he's now employed somebody else in there to actually do all of that work. So he's getting the increase, he's getting more money, and he's getting a massive turnover, and he's freed his whole time up now so that he can actually go and he's working on other aspects of the business to work as well. And that's where masterminds work really well. If it was just me doing a group coaching session, we wouldn't have come up with ideas that good, I'll promise you. But when it's a mastermind group of people working together, it goes really well. So if somebody's going to increase in 2 months, $22,000, he's not really worried about paying a couple of bucks for a mastermind session because the return on his investment is huge. So how do you create a mastermind? Again, one of the things is have a look, what are people getting in return for that? What are you offering? What can you say to them you're going to offer? What sort of maybe guarantee, normal marketing terms, normal things like that, that are going to be coming back to people? And we'll talk more about that down a little bit further. And when you're creating the mastermind as well, have a think about what's the best way. Is it best to do just online mastermind? Is it best to do just in-person masterminds? So it depends who you're reaching. Are you reaching people in different towns, different states? Is it everyone in the local town there, around the world, whatever it is, what's going to be the best thing to do? And then having a look as well. Do you want to do something that's a weekly session? Is that going to be what's best for your people? Is that what's going to be best for you? excuse me, is it going to be monthly? Do we just do this for 4 weeks? Do we do it for a year? There's so many questions to think about. So all those sorts of questions, think about that. And then once you answer a lot of these questions, that's when you can really start going, okay, now here's how I'm going to create the mastermind, because you know who it's for, you know how it's going to benefit them, you know the best way to reach those people and what's going to be the better way to actually work together with those people. With masterminds, I very much class it as you're working with people. You're not just the coach that's happening. So second big question there is, how long should they be? And going back to what we said before, this is determined about what you want people to achieve. So my business masterminds, we run them once a month. We get together for 4 hours on a Wednesday morning. But behind the scenes, we've got a Facebook group, we've got Messenger. I catch up with the guys once a week, and we talk things through, how things going, what's happening. I love, in the middle of all this, the guys ring me and say, guess what happened now? Because they're so excited about what's going on from what we talked about in the mastermind group. And the other side of that as well is because people are helping each other, they love the fact that that was my idea that helped him succeed. It's a great thing, because it's a mastermind group of people working together. And what you find when you work in masterminds, you actually, and this is the skill of the facilitation process as well, which is an art form that you learn over time, is drawing out what's inside of people. Because I'll guarantee we could go around every single person here, and there'd be so much gold that everybody has to offer people that we just don't have within ourselves. So much knowledge, so much wisdom, experience, and that sort of thing that everybody on this webinar would be able to offer people. And as a mastermind facilitator, one of the things you're doing is drawing that out of them and helping that reach other people as well. So most of my masterminds, for example, the way I look at it, I'm trying to build habits in people. The bottom line of everything that I do is putting good habits in place for people. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And so one of the things I try to do is take mine over time, and help people build good habits that way. So they go over a period of time. And the other thing that I notice as well is that during mastermind groups, like if you really facilitate them in a really good way, you'll find friendships are built, camaraderie is built. There's a support mechanism that comes from this, because people actually become quite vulnerable. Like, it's not unusual for some of our groups, as weird as this sounds, and this happens more so with the guys and the girls, surprisingly, but you've got guys that are sharing stuff that they're practically in tears sharing it, because they finally found a group of people that understand how they think, that understand what's going on, and they can be vulnerable and know that there's a support system there. They're not there to judge them or condemn them or whatever. They're there to support each other and help build each other up. And when that happens, it is unbelievable what happens and the change in people and the success that actually comes from that. It's very, very powerful, especially for any of the guys doing coaching or anything along those lines. And even Mrs. Red's art class. Now, it sounds like you've got, Jane, I think it is, you've got a lot of this type of thing going on at the moment. Can you jump on real, please unmute yourself and let us know how you actually run your groups at the moment? Is she there? Nope.
I think she might have disappeared.
Okay. All good. All good. I was quite fascinated. It sounded really, really good. So the different mastermind groups. So we've talked a little bit about some of the guys, the developmental coaching. I'll get a speech therapist in. got Jeff over in the Philippines, obviously doing a lot of business stuff as well that way. So they're the main ones that we talked about before. But you can really, no matter what business you're in, you can actually run a mastermind group. And as I was saying before, that the mastermind group can be, it needs to fit within your business model. And if you're working out how to do things, because one of the guys, I think it might have been Jeff from memory, is trying to retire, but he's just not sure how to do it, which I think is fantastic, because I think retirement's an ugly thing. And you got to do what you love for the rest of your life, whether that's still what you're doing now or if it's something different. And obviously you're enjoying it, or you wouldn't be just keeping going with stuff. But it's a good way to maybe either add a source of income into what you're doing at the moment as another strategy, or else if you are pulling back, maybe it's like, you know what, I can do this mastermind sort of thing online or in person and pull back my working hours. Because if you pull a group of people together, you can get a bunch of income coming in at once with less work, because you've got a bunch of people that you're working with together. And so time-wise and time efficiency-wise, it works really, really well that way. So when should you run your mastermind groups? Now, this is a big question, because you can have day, night, mornings, all sorts of things going on. So I'll give a couple of examples of a couple of masterminds that I'm running. I've gave a number of examples of ones that happened earlier. One of the ones I run is a PT mastermind, or a personal training mastermind. So how that works is, and we've got a couple of these things happening, we're just adjusting this at the moment, but we've got a group come in. I get a personal trainer in who comes in and does a half-hour personal training session with this particular group. And then we go jump in the ocean. There's a reason for that. And then we all get together and we mastermind. So the personal training, as Nick mentioned earlier, I'm all about physical and mental health. Our motto is create the life you want. And one of the reasons for jumping in the ocean is because you get someone to jump in the ocean at 6 o'clock in the morning, most people are going to freak out. It's too cold, they can't do that, all sorts of things. But we need to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. And that's one of the things that we do here with this. And as we push ourselves, what I've noticed with these guys and girls who at first they're like, I know I signed up for this, but I really don't want to do it. What happens after they've done it for a couple of times, they're like, you know what? This feels absolutely amazing. I love this. And so then what happens, once they've done their personal training session where they get wrecked, then they go jump in the ocean, and then jumping in the ocean actually becomes like a reward for them for doing that. And so then by the time they've done that, they're physically exercised, they got dopamine happening, they got cortisol running through their brain, they've done stuff that's a little bit out of their comfort zone. So you can just imagine what their mind and their mindset's like when it comes to actually masterminding around their life and their business and things. It increases. So when setting your mastermind up, think about, how can I get people into the best position mentally to be open to what we're going to be talking about as well? Because it's one thing to actually have a group of people, but we want to make sure that mentally and physically and the environment as much as possible, we can create a scenario that's the best thing for them, that they're going to be opened up in their mind as much as possible and ready to go and ready to get things happening. So that mastermind that I talk about, that's at 6 o'clock in the morning that we do that, because that's the best time for that. Then by the time we're done, they've had coffee, they feel unbelievable, they get ready and they go and they're on time for work and getting everything happens. But it's different. So like I mentioned to Paul, I think it was before, now, while he's working a day job, maybe a night one would be better, where you jump on a little bit like Nick does now, once a week at 6 o'clock. It's a perfect type of scenario to grab a bunch of small business owners, because most people don't have too much to do on a Tuesday. 6 o'clock is a great time to be able to work within most people, no matter where they are around the country or maybe even overseas. So I'm sure Nick just didn't go, I'm bored on Tuesday nights, let's do something there. He's obviously strategically thought this through what to do. And again, when you're looking at setting up a mastermind, what's going to work best for you with your lifestyle and what's going to work best for people you're trying to reach as well. So with my business masterminds, they run on every one of them runs on a Wednesday morning, but I do it from 8 to 12, but it's once a month because as business owners, everyone's way too busy. And we're always the busiest people on the planet, no matter who we are somehow. And so once a month, 4 hours, and when they come there, they have unbelievable results, as one example we've just mentioned. And so they don't mind that 4 hours because they know they're going to get great content and great stuff to take home and take away with them. And that's one of the big things as well. So when do you do it? When are people going to be there and able to be there and make the time work well for them? So if it's a parenting mastermind or something, have a look at what you're doing around there, which is another thing that's possible to do. How long have we got here, Nick?
Where are we? So you've got about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I want to open up for a few questions in a sec. Who should you invite? This is a pretty important one. The reason is that we've all been in the groups where somebody wants to dominate and take over what's going on in the show. So it's always a good idea to invite people, especially if it's your first one or two that you've done, invite people that you know are going to contribute well to the group, and invite people you know are going to fit in well with the group. So that's when you get starting, just to make sure you're in control of what's going on. And then it's always good to send out some information. Hey, welcome to the group. So glad you're going to be part of it. This is what you can expect. This is basically how we're going to run it. This is what's going to happen during it. So they've got a bit of an idea. And one of the things I do as well is I always say, what happens in Mastermind stays in Mastermind. In some ways, it may not be as exciting as Las Vegas, but you'll probably get a lot more benefit out of it at the end of the day. But what happens there stays there. And then people feel safe as well, because they are a place where we want to make sure that people are safe, that we feel heard, they feel supported. At the same time, we want them to feel like they're being pushed. There's an accountability factor as well, because they're there because hopefully they're going to learn and they're going to grow in whichever way it is that we're actually creating these masterminds. And then as you go down further and you trial and you test a few things and you're working out your routine and how it's going to work, then you can open it up to more people. But again, have a chat with people and say, hey, this is what goes on in the mastermind. This is how it works. So maintaining that control of the group throughout the time as well. It's really, really important to do that. And make sure people are there because they want to not just learn for themselves, but hopefully they're going to help others and inspire other people and work with other people as well as part of that. So I always have an application process that they go through where they fill out a form, they know what's going on, and they agree to abide by how everything's going to be run in the mastermind group. And how many people should you invite? Again, big question. What are you getting out of it? How many people? What's the setup going to be? How's it going to be working? Exactly what are you doing? Like I said, you got ones like Lewis Howes, Russell Brunson. Those guys run ones that are mostly online, but then they do things that are coming in person. Next year, I'm going to be starting a 12-month one, which is going to be mostly online, but then we're going to be having some in-person events throughout the year as well. We've got another one coming up soon that's going to be it's more of a coaching thing, but it's a bit of a mastermind as well, the way we're running it, where it's going to be it will be 100% online as well. And then again, we're putting a group behind it so people can get behind as a group in doing what they're encouraging each other, inspiring each other, and asking questions, checking how they do and that sort of thing. One of the things as well is you've got to be making sure that people are gaining good growth, information, whatever it is that you're aiming for people to get out of it. And so what we do is everyone has homework to do. I don't set the homework. They set their own homework. But what they've done is they said publicly in that group, this is what I'm going to do by next week, or this is what I'm going to do by next month, or whatever it is. So there's an accountability factor there, and they know come next week or next month or whatever, how'd you go with your homework? And nobody wants to not do their homework because it's something that's the only way to grow. So it's something that they set for themselves that they are going to do because they know what's going to push their business, or they know what's going to push their personal life, or they know what's going to push whatever it is to help them grow and become the person that they are wanting to grow and become. And one of the other big things is how do you price the mastermind group is a big one. Basically, there's two main things with that. Number one is, what are they going to expect in return? What are they getting out of the mastermind group? So, for example, if you're doing a mastermind group, you're a bookkeeper. So you just want to help people with their books. Instead of you just being the bookkeeper and you get paid 70, 80 bucks an hour or something, we turn it around a little bit and you go, okay, we'll do a mastermind session and I'll work with you on having get the books done and making it easier for you, or make things flow or whatever. You can probably tell I'm not an accountant. But what happens is they may pay 50 bucks a month to be there. There might be 5 or 10 people in that. Now that bookkeeper is getting paid a heck of a lot more than 70, 80 bucks an hour when they're running these mastermind sessions to help people set things up in their business. Instead of just doing one-on-one and doing it once, they're getting paid, maybe 250 or 500 bucks an hour because they're doing a mastermind and people are understanding their business. They're understanding their numbers. They're understanding where things fit in their business as well, because we all need to understand a little bit, at least, about the numbers in our business and what's going on. Then you might have another one where you might have a mastermind group. There's an accountant that's like a CFO type person, and he works with high-level corporate execs on different things. And if he can show them with what they're doing and decisions they're making, how they can turn over an extra $300,000, $400,000 that year. Now, for them to pay $30,000 or $40,000 a year, no biggie, because I'm getting this massive return coming in with what I'm doing. So you see the difference between maybe a $50 a month mastermind group, as opposed to maybe a $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 a year type of mastermind group that you're running and working, because it's a completely different return that's going to be happening. It's going to be coming along those lines. So that's the main. I forgot to bring up my screen. Oops, it's gone from there. That's all right. Close that down. And then that's pretty much most of what I wanted to cover in this time we've got here. One of the big things, though, how does it fit in with the rest of your business model and what you're doing? And how can you get a good return on it? And how can your clients, the people you're working with, etc., get a really good return on it as well? Because that's really, really important as far as that goes. So I just want to open up for any questions that people might have at the moment. Nope.
So if you do have a question, then feel free to unmute. You can drop it into chat. You can put up your hand with that hand icon. Just to kick things off, though, Kingsley, I did have a question, or I've got a couple of questions here, but one of them is about running the mastermind itself. Whether you have like a set agenda that you go through where you've got, say particular teaching points, and then you've got some sort of, feedback or whatever. What sort of agenda would you typically set for something like this?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so basically I will have an agenda that's set up. And at the beginning of the mastermind, I'll run through what the agenda is that we're doing and what's going to happen. very rarely does that stay, because usually there's lots of questions and discussions and things that come in there. But I think, like everything, we always got to have a plan to go somewhere. Because if you don't have a plan, who knows what's going to happen? And there's usually not a lot of great benefits. So I'll have an agenda with it and telling people what's going on. And it can be, the agenda does, depending on the particular scenario or what's going on. But what is important, I think, is when you're running a mastermind, make sure people know who's in the group. It's a good way to build the trust. It's a good way to be able to help people come out of themselves, because they understand who's there. They understand what they're there for, what they're aiming to achieve, and then letting people know what you expect them to be getting out of the group as well. And then have certain questions or topics that you're going to be sort of hitting up or talking about specifically to go into throughout the group.
Excellent. Got any other questions or comments, feedback, maybe sort of thinking about your business and how it might work for you? Azim.
Would it be okay if I shared some of my experience, so that gives some nice support for what Kingsley is saying? Just to give you some examples, I mean, what Kingsley has pointed out about the power of the mastermind is, one thing I always love to say is 95% of your industry knows 95% of what there is to know. So don't ask them for the answer, because the breakthrough often will come from outside the industry, and can't read the label from inside the jar. And so in my two, the yet to be launched mastermind, which has a specific audience. So that mastermind that's coming up, which is an in-person, a couple of times a year, one where we'll actually go somewhere, that's for founding franchisors, right? So these are the people that have founded the franchise system, and they will be there. And they're a very select group of people, some of them pretty old, right? But I know a lot of them from all my work in the franchising, and I can bring people in who are founders, because they have different problems to the people who are general managers or CEOs of things. These are the people that have built them from the ground up. So that's my point there, is that's the selection of who it's attracting or who is being invited to that one. But that's an in-person one, quite possibly in Morocco is our first meeting. But anyway, but my Supermind has a couple of things which I've been using my initial cohort for experimentation on with, right, if you like, is first of all, I use a tool called Contribution Compass to do an energy psychological profile of everybody as part of the application process. And the reason I do that is that tells me as the facilitator how to best support the people in the mastermind. Like, so if someone's really analytical, that sort of thing, I know, okay, well, this is what will really get the messages across to that person, and so on, not to pair them with this person, and when we're doing things together. And I think, to your point, Kingsley, one of the biggest observations of what differentiates a mastermind from your classic group coaching is that the mastermind meets the individual where they are at the time of joining the mastermind. So there's no specific curriculum. There may be a framework of stuff we go through on a day, like you said, but there's no like, here's step one, here's step two, steps three. It's like, well, where are you? And I open all my masterminds with each person telling us what they're most excited about at the moment, right? I don't start with problems. I say, well, what are you most excited about? And they tell us. So we start with a very upbeat thing and people congratulating each other. And I suppose the other thing for me with my Supermind is the Supermind represents a journey from the point of view of its qualification is a six-figure business, is not e-commerce. And the journey is to take it set you on the course from a six-figure business to a seven-figure business. But if you want, that's just the marketing hook, if you want, for a better term. But that identifies who the container is meant for. And I think that's really important, which you would agree with, Kingsley, is like identifying who's meant to be in there and who it's not for is really important. Otherwise, you could end up with a bit of a mismatch of people in there looking for different things. So they're my experiences, and I just wanted to share those. And within that Supermind, we have what we call success waypoints. And there's three particular things that when they've achieved those things from within the mastermind, some of them in different places, then essentially we thank them for coming and then we release them back into the wild. So the mastermind will exist. That's why I'm saying it's capped at 50. People are on the waiting list, and then people will come through it. And as they progress through it and get the result, then it's time for them to move to something different. So that's the concept behind what I've created.
Yeah, no, that's great, and it's true, and that's like I said, every mastermind I've given, like I said to Nick early on, more an overall view of how to do it, and there's some great concepts on how to bring it. And probably one of the biggest things I would reiterate there is the fact of different people from different industries. So I try, and when I run a mastermind group, we'll try and make sure that there's no one from the same industry if possible, because you think of things in a completely different view that, if it's in your industry, you're probably not going to think about anything different, but being from a completely different industry altogether, that's where a lot of the great concepts come from. And it's a real mind bender for some people to, how do I actually apply that? But when it clicks, it's like, boom, I got it. Now I can run. Yeah, that's great.
I really like that, Kingsley, because one of the things in the marketing world, and the craziest thing that people do, and we all do it, and I've done it myself, is that you have a look and see what people are doing in your own industry in terms of like ads that they're running or posts that they're doing or things that they're doing. And, if they're successful, then you copy them. Now, one of my mentors and coaches said, why on earth would you do that? Because you don't know whether I'm running an experiment or not, and whether this is an utter failure. All you see is that I'm running this, but you don't know why and the purpose and whatever behind it. And I think that what you're talking about is you're not finding the answers from people that are within your industry or cohort. You get it from people that are outside. Is the same sort of thing. So when you're working in marketing, it's like, well, what are some other industries that are sort of unrelated to me? What are they doing? How can we apply that into this, or into my sort of market or industry? And I guess that's part of what the mastermind pulls up, right?
100%. And that's the like you just said, all the different people. That's what it's about. That's one of the powerful aspects about it. One of the things I didn't mention before is a couple of things to avoid in masterminds. Number one is just doing it for money. Because if you just do it for money, people will notice that straight away. You have to come at it with a heart to serve people and work with people and help them get the best out of what they're doing, and work with other people. So having other people as part of your team in that. So that's not running a mastermind. It's not you're the big hero. You might be the facilitator and running it and putting it all together or whatever. But if you work together as a team, people get more out of it. They're more trusting and they're more willing to give of who they are to help each other, which means everybody is going to win a lot better as well. I think that's a really important thing I forgot to mention before.
So you'll draw people in that are, say, in the mastermind or from outside the mastermind to help run, facilitate, or to have various different roles. Is that what you're talking about?
So people within the mastermind. So some people bring people outside to come into the mastermind and talk and do that sort of thing. And I do that from time to time. But what I try and do is make sure that everybody that's in there, they're working where there's no real boss hierarchy type thing. We're all there to help each other work and help each other win in whatever we're doing. And so try and encourage people to do that. Don't just be in there because people are coming to my mastermind and I'm making money out of this, but so everyone's on the same level playing field to try and encourage each other and serve each other as much as possible. That's one of the things I tell people before I let them in the group, is this is who you are and this is what happens in the group, and you have to be that type of person.
Can I ask you a question about qualification from Mastermind? And I think sort of Azim sort of brought it up too, that people have to be there for a specific sort of purpose, and there's a container in there. So, and both of you spoke about having an application process to get in. So with that there, what are the sorts of questions you ask? What are the sorts of things that you're looking for? And probably more importantly, how do you decide when someone's not suitable for a mastermind, and how do you let them know that it's not for them?
Yeah, no, they're very good question. So one of the things is, I'm not big into rules, but I am big into having, this is how we're going to work together type of thing. So coming up from that type of approach. So, like I said, I'll send information out and I'll get them to sign a form that says, hey, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we run the group. This is what the expectations are about the group. This is what you can expect from me, how it's going to work, so that we make sure that everybody knows that they're there to help each other and work together. I think if you get that covered off on, most other issues are pretty much sorted. And the other point you made before, so people need to be at a relatively similar place in what we're doing. So with Azim, he's got the ones for the founders of franchises. Now, they're all at a certain type of level. So now I've got my mastermind groups with people who, so the business ones, they're all at relatively similar mindset, place, space, etc., as far as business goes. With the personal training mindset, when it comes to where people are at, they're all business professionals pretty much. But what they're doing, what they're lacking is they're lacking the good habits. They're lacking getting their good food and nutrition part of things. They're lacking having a regular exercise routine and things like that. Now, as far as business and everything else goes, they're all over the place. But that doesn't matter because that's not the focus. The focus is getting the habits and getting these other things in place so that wherever they are in business, they can apply that to them, because that's the number one focus, is making sure the rest of their life and habits and things are in place.
And so a follow-on question there, if you're in a mastermind, you're facilitating one, and you do find that there's someone in there who doesn't quite follow the rules, is disruptive, and I'm sure that this has never happened to you, but how do you sort of pull those people into line, or sort of at worst case scenario, have you ever had to ask people to leave or to move on, or suggest that maybe there's somewhere else that might be better suited for them?
Yeah, fortunately, I haven't had to do that in a group, mastermind group as yet, but having had numerous leadership roles throughout the year, I think, one of the things is sitting down with them one-on-one and go, okay, what are you getting out of the group? What are you missing? How are you feeling about it? Is there something that's not happening for you? And just by asking questions like that, they pretty much answer the question themselves. And then, like you just said, you just, suggest, do you think this is the best thing for you? Or maybe there's another group that might work better for you. What's missing here? And just go about it that way is how I would approach that.
Well, any sort of any other questions here? Or I would like to ask a question here, just of the group that are here, and that is, who's got some idea about their business and how a mastermind might be able to fit in for that? So if you've got sort of some sort of inkling that there may be something there, just jot a one into chat. And if you'd like to flesh out that idea just a little bit more, we haven't got a lot of time, but certainly it might be good to, if you're willing to do that, and sort of almost workshop it through with Kingsley. So if you'd like to do that, just pop your hand up or unmute yourself there. But if as I say, if you have got an inkling of an idea, or you've just got a spark that you see it might, where it might work in your business, then just drop a one into chat. Or if you're not sure, just drop a two in chat if you're just really still not sure. I should say that I do notice there's a few authors or people that have authored books on the in here tonight, and you are ideal candidates for having a mastermind.
Yeah, absolutely. A question I might put in there is are people understanding what a mastermind group is and how it can help their business at the moment? I'm wondering, is there, if you're wondering, maybe there's some people are wondering, does this really work for my business? If there's anyone like that, maybe just put a Y in there or something if you're not sure if it would.
I can share something there, Kingsley, which is as to how the masterminds fit inside my business model, so that others could see that. So I only take on, for obvious reasons, a limited number of one-on-one clients. And if the right thing for them to get to a position where they could potentially become a one-on-one client is to get others to help them to get to that level, then the mastermind is the right container for them. It also allows me to know how well they go about implementing things and working together with other people and taking directions and different perspectives. So if they do end up working one-on-one with me at some point in time, I know they're the right fit. Because like you said before, it's not just about, hey, sign on the dotted line, pay me your money and we'll see how it goes. But like my role when I take on a client changes from advisor, coach, whatever it is. My role actually becomes not to let you fail. And because my role is not to let you fail, it means I've qualified you properly that you can get the result that you said you think you want to get. Right? Yeah. It's not always the result that you're after, but the one you say you want to get, I know you can do that. So the mastermind sits in a place of where I can put people in there, observe them, help them get an outcome at a different investment level, and perhaps even more effectively than working with me one-on-one. So that's where it fits in my business.
Yep, perfect. That's your business model. Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's going to have a different one. Yeah. No, that's cool. May has put a Y in there. Not sure if that might fit in with your business model, May. Is she there? Can you?
Yes, I'm an author and a coach.
Okay, cool.
I've never ever conducted a mastermind. I've been in them, but as a new coach, not a new coach, as a new author, how would that fit into? Wouldn't that be a little bit too far advanced for someone at my level?
Aha. This goes back to what I said earlier. I'll guarantee there's so much gold inside of you that it's just a matter of having a look, and you'd be amazed how you could actually possibly work this way. What sort of coaching do you do, and what's your book about?
It's mostly self-development and wealth creation.
Okay. And who do you work with mostly with your coaching?
At this stage, I'm working mainly with seniors from 50 on, senior women who are leaving the workforce, perhaps empty nesters, widows that have got time and no sort of ambitions or where to start, basically. What do I do now? They've been homemakers or whatever. They just want something different, something new. So I work basically with that, yeah.
That, to me, would be perfect, like a bunch of women sitting around drinking tea and scones. I love that sort of thing.
But I'll try.
Yeah.
This is May Rose. It'll be wine, not tea.
Okay, fair enough. That's probably better. So my thoughts there are, like, you've got a bunch of people who are looking to do things and go somewhere who you are coaching. And I would almost, and you would notice this, and I notice when I'm coaching people as well, is that they come back at me with stuff and I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. So by having like a mastermind group, what you can actually do is you can work with those and they can sort of be helping each other as well. And a few things happen. One is they're helping each other. They've got some friendships that may or may not be happening at the moment, which is always a good thing. And especially in that time of life where there's a little bit of vulnerability around, a little bit of unsureness about what's happening. By building a connection, you're building a strength, you're building a network, you're building a friendship group, all of this sort of stuff together. And different people have different ideas and they'll be trying different things and be coming from different perspectives. And if you've written a book, you've gone, I know what's going on here, I can do this. I think that would be a fantastic thing for you to do, whether that's online or in person, depending on how you work, and possibly both.
So Kingsley, you have an outline or a course, or it's where to start these things, you know, where would you start a mastermind?
Yes.
Where's your starting point?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've done something especially for Nick. I'm not sure if you want to talk about it, Nick, or you wanted me to talk about the
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
So basically what I've got is a training, so that, because it isn't, you need to go in depth with each individual thing. The principles, obviously, like anything, principles are the same. It's like when you look at marketing, all of the marketing principles, nothing ever changes. but how you actually do it specifically with each different platform, group of people, product, service, etc., varies drastically. And it's the same with a mastermind group. So I've created this thing. It goes over 3 weeks. It's 1 hour for over the 3 weeks. And what we do is we nut down in exactly who you are, who your group is, what you want to mastermind about, and do all that sort of thing. It's normally $4.95 package, but I'm doing it for $2.95 for next group of people.
And how would someone get access to that?
So that's my bad. I was supposed to send some information, but what I can do is I can email some information to people and then have a bit of a chat and see if it might work, if that's okay.
So maybe I think what we'll do, Kingsley, is we'll put something out in the email that goes out tomorrow. So if everyone looks out for that there, it might be a good opportunity for you if people did want to contact you directly. If we drop your contact details into the chat there.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I think you should have a form there, Nick, with all the details on that package.
Well, I think we do have something there. So again, we will shoot that out in the email tomorrow. So make sure that you look at the email tomorrow. Don't sort of just delete it. I'm sure none of you do, but don't delete it before reading it. And we'll drop it all in there.
And I'm happy to have a chat with people as well. I'm very much in person. I do online masterminds because you've got to do online masterminds, but I love the in-person ones, I must admit, a little bit better.
All right, so Kingsley's details are in the chat there, so you can definitely contact him directly about it. And as I say, we'll get the info out in the email tomorrow. That goes out after the session as well. All right, well, Azim.
So Nick, in all fairness to everybody on the group, I'm gonna have to out Kingsley because there's something he hasn't told everybody. Now, I might have to be shot after this, Kingsley, but the people that get the most from the mastermind group are the people facilitating the group.
Not going to deny that at all.
Yeah, we get so much value and depth and excitement from the people within the group. You're just like,
yeah,
it's one of the best things you can do, guys, from the point of view is you're actually not doing the work. You're getting to observe other people's experience and things come out. It's just awesome. So sorry, Kingsley, I had to let out our dirty little secret.
No, it's true.
But, you know, they need to know this.
100%. And I tell you what, when I get the phone calls with people that are in your group telling you what they've done and what they've achieved, like I just before we started tonight, I got some photos from one of my clients just showing what she'd achieved that she'd been trying to do for the last 6 months and what she took 1 week and achieved and just did it because based on what we've been doing with the mastermind, she sent through the photos proud as punch. And I'm like,
it's such a good feeling. Yeah,
it's the best thing. Absolute best thing. Yeah.
So, and that goes to, I think, or May Rose sort of brought it up as well too, is that you don't have to be the expert at the front of the room. You may well be, but you don't have to be the expert. All of the gold comes out from the participants, not you giving it to them. They're giving it to each other and they solve their own issues and problems. You're not solving it for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just got to know how to bring it out.
And you just have to ask the best questions to bring the smartest people out of the room.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Excellent. Any last questions? Have you learned something tonight? Has that been good? Yep, perfect. Any last questions? All right, well, we do have a prize draw for tonight, but and we've got our special way of doing that. Before we do, let's give Kingsley a round of applause for all he's contributed tonight. So thanks, Kingsley.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So yes, so we do have a door prize, and what is it?
I'm going to give away a consult for somebody who thinks they would like to put a mastermind group together. I'll give an hour consult on that, but it's not just about the mastermind group because you've got to know how does this fit in with the rest of your business and or business model. And so working through the strategy for that and an outline of how this can work for you, how you would set up your specific mastermind group.
Fabulous. Excellent. All right. Well, let's bring up our wheel of names. We've got our special way of drawing. Everybody's name is in the wheel. And remember, you have to be in the room to win it. So don't disappear just yet. And if we do happen to, it does happen to land on someone that's disappeared, then happy days. We get to draw it again. So let's spin the wheel and find out who our lucky mastermind facilitator is. And it is, oh, you know what? Kim has just left the room. He just said goodbye. And because he had something else to go to, so he has just ducked out there. So let's draw it again. I'll let Kim know that he was a lucky almost winner. All right, let's spin that again. And hopefully we've got someone in the room, and our lucky winner is Cameron Jones. Oh yeah, all the way from South Australia.
Nice.
Excellent. Is Cameron in the room? Oh, yes, he is there. He's there. So
Thank you very much.
Happy to come down for a coffee.
it's not too far to travel. It's only a 3-hour flight.
Easy done.
Fabulous. Excellent. All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll connect you both up by email tomorrow, or Cameron, if you feel like just dropping Kingsley a line, feel free to do that as well too. But we'll certainly hook you up by email. All right. Well, that is our session for tonight. So once again, thanks Kingsley for coming on and talking about this topic. It's one that I really enjoy as well too, the whole facilitation side of things. So that was why I was really excited to have it on tonight and have you in here. If you've enjoyed tonight's episode, then it will be up on YouTube again tomorrow if you want to sort of watch it again or pick some things through or pick up some things that maybe you missed. Feel free to share it with anyone else that you think might benefit from it as well too. And now is probably a good time to share, to save the chat as well. So all of those links to the online tools, they're in chat, as well as the link to the YouTube channel, the Facebook group, and to next week's session as well too. The best way to save the chat, there's 3 little dots. I think if you've upgraded, it will be on the top right-hand side. You're still working with an older version of Zoom, it's probably down the bottom of your chat screen. And when you do save it, there is a link that appears. If you click on the link, then it will take you directly to where you've saved it. So you don't have to go and wonder where your downloads folder is. Excellent. Well, that is our session tonight. So thanks everyone for coming along tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to some of those masterminds popping up all over the place as well too. If you don't want to get in touch with Kingsley, his details are in chat too. Look out for the email that we'll post out tomorrow as well. It'll have all those details in there as well. All right, well, let's go and have a sensational evening and see you back next week. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.